Melinda, if you haven't talked to me before. I am an AE, or an application specialist at CADPartners. I've been with AEA for about 7 years now, and I do your advanced Inventor training as well. So tonight I'm just going to show you a couple of the new things with 2010. They're generic, so they're across the board, whether you've got Suite or Pro or a whole bunch of different things. It's basically the updates to the regular part environment or assembly environment that we work with every day. In my personal opinion as well, this isn't such a huge update as the previous updates have been. There's a lot of little things that you'll find over time. You'll right click and see a new option and go, oh, didn't know I could do that. 2010's had some significant updates in, say, sheet metal, or in a different way that the solid parts are created, but it hasn't had any massive updates like 2019. So hopefully you can integrate it into your design process. So enjoy, that's great. I'm going to sit while I'm doing my presentation because I don't have a fancy clicker, I'm sorry. So what's new in 2010? First thing I want to talk about are the general enhancements to 2010, which some of you, if you already installed 2010, would see the moment that you open the program, and that's the ribbon user interface, which scares everyone the moment they see it. Okay, brand new interface in Inventor, when we've been used to working it with a panel bar down the left-hand side from day one. Okay, user interface, it's a huge change to your workflow for about 10 minutes. Trust me, okay? Just give it a go. I understand that some of you will have to just keep going as fast as you've been going in Inventor since the previous release as well, but when you do have that time to go into the ribbon, give it a go. Try it, please, and you'll find that it is actually a better way to work. It uses a whole left to right workflow, so that you sort of travel from the left side of your browser over to the right side of your computer screen to do anything that you want to achieve in Inventor. There's been a few user interface enhancements, including the document tabs, which I'll show you in a demonstration at the very end of this presentation as well. It's just different ways that we can display our information and see our information. I think document tabs has been a really good enhancement as well, so I'll show you that in a moment. Another general enhancement is the desktop content option. How many of you are single standalone users? Yeah? How many of you are sick to death of installing the Vault server to run Content Center? Okay, desktop content option addresses that. So you don't have to install the ADMS, the Autodesk Data Management Server, to run the Content Center if you don't want to anymore. You can just install this very light version called desktop content. It installs the databases on the machine and just hooks into them when it needs them. Alright, other general enhancements, we've got a CATIA translator, a JT translator. If you're importing those types of files, have a look at that, it's pretty cool. We've got an autosave, sort of, in brackets. Alright, it's not an autosave in the conventional sense of the AutoCAD autosave that just saves for you at an allotted time. What this will do is display a little balloon that says it's been 30 minutes since your last save. Click here to save. Okay, you can set the time that it'll remind you of that save as well, if you want to. Anyone who used the subscription bonus pack for 2009 will be familiar with that as well. That was one of the enhancements they added to that. And user-defined user coordinate systems. Now, I'm sure most of you already know that I haven't come from an AutoCAD background, I came from a multimedia and 3D Max background, so the user coordinate system concept to me, it's a new one and I'm not the best person on it at the moment. Okay? What it basically means to me from what I've seen of it, that you can initiate your own user coordinate system to place work planes or sketches on a different set of planes. It's there to allow you to redefine your sketches to a different position in your model. Sort of like a quick way of not just creating 3 work planes, but 3 axes and a point at a different position. So hopefully you guys can integrate that if you see it useful. The changes to part and sketch mode. This is probably where I think the greatest benefit is to be seen. So we've got this thing called multi-body parts. If you've used 2010 already, you'll be wondering what this extra folder is doing in your browser called solid bodies. I will demonstrate it in a moment so you'll see what the deal is, but it allows you to really take skeleton modelling to a new level. I'll talk more about it in the demonstration. We've got some plastic features, plastic part tools basically, that Rod talked about briefly, that enable you to create grills, lips, clip fasteners, a whole array of plastic features a lot more easily. There's a silhouette curve option that allows you to take any sort of skeleton model you've made and take a a sort of 3D sketch projection of the outermost extents of it and just presents it as a 3D sketch to you. There's an option to make part and make component, which will allow you to take your skeleton model, which you've used the new multi-body part option on, and just automatically create your assembly for you. There's a little trick to that. Again, I'll be just displaying that later. And there's these new things called sketch layouts and sketch blocks. This sketch block concept's interesting to me. What you can do is you can save a sketch and you can store it in your template and you can just insert it whenever you want it. So sketch blocks, I believe, is coming from an AutoCAD terminology. You get a configuration of a sketch, you dimension it, you constrain it however you need to use it, and you can save that configuration of lines, constraints, dimensions to a block, which enables you to insert it at any point in time. So if you've got common things that you're sketching all the time, it might be worth creating some sketch blocks. So I'll display them in a moment too. Sheet metal has had a massive change. All right, and the change is in the unfolder in the background of the program. But the major change that you'll see on the surface is that you can now do these lofted flange shapes. These transitional pieces have been so difficult in the past in about 3 steps. They've added the ability to do a contour roll as well and an unfold and refold. So you can unfold your model in part mode, not in flat pattern mode, in part mode, make changes to it, refold it, and you'll get an accurate representation of what it looks like when it's folded and when it's flattened. Alright, there's some cosmetic centerline options you can add during the flat pattern stage, and you can change the bend order annotation if you need to. So you can display which bit folds up first, basically. Assembly mode, not too many enhancements, but one kind of vital one, I think, called shrink wrap, which enables you to sort of automate a task that some of us may have been doing in the past, where you get a request to send an assembly to a third party that you don't want to share all of your data with. So in the past, what we do is probably take that assembly, create a derived part from it, break the link. Shrink wrap automates all that. But it also has some additional options, and then it lets you fill any holes that are between a minimum or maximum range. So you can exclude information based on part size or hole size or a whole bunch of different options. Okay, weldment. There's been a little change to it for the groove weld, groove in brackets there. They've added the option for radial fill. So instead of weldments having to do this really ugly fill in one direction and then fill in the other direction, you can now just tick this radial fill option and it'll fill it up for you. If you've been using any welded assemblies, you'll be cheering, so I guess nobody's using welded assemblies. The bill of materials has had a couple of slight updates. Not significant in my opinion, but it's worth mentioning it. They've got Excel-like controls, so you can click the bottom corner of a field in your bill of materials and just drag it down and it'll copy it into all the other fields. If you're used to using Excel for creating any sort of data, you'll find a lot of similarities in the way the bill of materials works now. So drip, point, drag, copy, paste for preserving your formulas, all that sort of thing. And a tiny little update called user assembly folders. What this allows you to do is create a folder in your assembly and move your parts into that folder without changing anything to do with the constraints or like moving things. You know how you move things around in assembly? If you demote it or you put it into a sub-assembly, it'll break all the links. This user-defined folders, which you can see here on the right, the image just allows you to categorize your parts or your sub-assemblies easily without breaking any of the constraints. Might make it easier for you. And it's just a very simple thing. It's like a Windows command. You right-click, create new folder.
Does it carry through to the BOM?
No, it doesn't. It's irrelevant to the BOM. It's just a way to organize your browser. So if you wanted it to carry through into the BOM, you would have to go through the demotion process. But this is literally just a way to organize your browser so you don't have like 1,000 parts in your browser. Okay?